That election day was crazy, wasn't it? I still can't believe Vermin Supreme actually won. Free ponies for everybody. Finally gonna harness the awesome power of zombies to turn turbines for our power. That's what we're gonna use to heat our homes. And charge our phones. But we all know what really happened. Trump won. Technically. I think he stole it from Vermin Supreme. They kept him from it. The true leader that we need. From Channel 5 News, Election Day. Probably a bunch of people freaking out.
When Trump has been in D.C. throughout the time that I've been here and there are large rallies, that is when I will get called a f***it or transphobic slurs just by the presence of this man and his supporters in town. The atmosphere alone is really damaging. And then on top of that, the legislation. Project 2025 is a set of legislation that has been prepared by the Heritage Foundation and proposed to Donald Trump is a set of laws to enact once if he gets elected into office.
Proposed to him. That's the key word. Proposed. He has denied that he has anything to do with Project 2025, which, by the way, I don't really care that much about it. Although I do think that the government needs to not mandate what we all do, even if it's wrong. That's between us and God, us individually.
Right on that first page, it describes transgender people as pornographic inherently, and throughout the pages of this document, it moves for legislation that would ban this quote-unquote pornographic material from being around kids. What this does in practice is transgender parents or people who have transgender children would be restricted from seeing their own children, among other things.
That's not true. It's not true at all. They're just not going to let you manipulate your child into thinking that that's what they are. And if they end up being an adult and they still think that's what they are, then sure, do what you want. You're an adult. You can make your own shitty decisions. But we're just saying, look at the underlying problem of it all. And the biggest problem is they're not just trying to educate people. They're outright trying to indoctrinate people. Indoctrinate children. Try to make them think that they're not okay, that they need to be this way. And then you know what happens when a group of kids starts thinking that way? The kids that just want to fit in and do things that they don't want to do to make people think they're cool, they'll start doing things they don't want to do. They want to be cool. There are kids that murder even though they're not murderers. Well, I guess that makes them murderers, but they don't have the murderous instinct. It's just, the group of friends, they're shitty.
There's this belief that trans people are inherently sexual, that their identity is based on being sexually predatory, when the reality is that trans people are just like cisgender people. They just want to live their lives in peace.
I voted Kamala.
Not from the ones that I see. I know a couple of trans people and they're fine. But they're not going to be affected by this Project 2025.
Kamala is just clearly better. She definitely slays. We don't need a revolution. We need a stable leader who can continue us on the path we're going.
Yo, what's up, guys? Channel 5 election season 2024, November 5th, Washington, D.C.
I love the LGBTQ community, but they are sadly deceived.
As y'all can see, there's a fence. Past that is the horsemen of the apocalypse.
That guy is true. They're sadly deceived. Like, these people say the things to get you on their side, but it's all really about money.
Robert E. Lee. Abraham Lincoln. Behind him is scaffolding. Behind the scaffolding is the White House. And somebody new is about to move in 24 hours. I must say, I was here exactly 4 years ago, and the vibes were much more intense. There was a lady screaming right here.
Culture appropriators.
They were yelling at each other. There was cameras everywhere. There was tension in the air. Right now, there is not much tension in the air. You got my guy right here, just chilling. What are we thinking?
I'm going for Trump. I don't know. It's like a stance on the economy a little more than the current administration's. Yeah, lower taxes. I like what they did with immigration as well, just kind of securing the border. I know many migrants. I go to school in D.C., so.
You like them?
Do I like them?
You're homies with them? Like, are they homies?
Yeah, I'm friends with migrants.
Would you be pissed if they got deported?
Imagine how yeah, probably, yeah.
Who am I voting for? Kamala.
I voted Kamala this election.
I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
There was something up with that guy. There was something a little off.
Kamala.
I voted Kamala this election.
I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
He kind of reminded me of Nick Swartzen a little bit.
As an atheist, Jewish man, I just want to let everyone know that freedom of religion is real. I've been seeing those protesters bring their religion on other people, and I just had to go to CVS straight this way just to make signs counter-protesting against their actions.
What are we thinking?
I'm thinking that no matter what happens, Jesus reigns. We cannot have
True,
wholesale
though.
abortion being promoted in our nation. We cannot
True.
have a furtherance of the transgender confusion that is really being enforced from the top down.
How are we
True.
going to solve the transgender confusion?
That guy's
By
based.
introducing people to the love of God, because the love of God changes people's hearts.
Well, this is the White House Peace Vigil, otherwise known as the William Thomas Memorial and Nuclear Peace Vigil. We don't believe the war machine should be the base of economy, so hashtag no war. We don't believe in nuclear bombs, nor do we believe in nuclear electricity, so hashtag no nukes. And we believe in justice in every individual case, justice for all, so hashtag justice.
For those
We need nukes. We need interplanetary devastating weapons. We need to be able to destroy Mars instantly, vaporize it. Because what if we build a civilization on Mars and they want to go to war with us and we can't defend against them because they had the ability to get to Mars and they left us, you know? What if that happens? We got to have the nukes. We got to keep building bigger and better and worse weapons forever.
those who don't know, what is the war machine?
Very simply put, we are now spending about half of our congressional budget, $1 trillion a year, on endless wars. Endless wars and 800 military bases around the world. We are spending more than the next 10 nations combined, the next 10 biggest spenders. We're spending more.
I'm cool with the spending on the military, even though I'm anarchist. But if we're gonna keep having a system, I'm cool with this, with the military. We just got to put money in the right places, damn it. Not just giving it away to other countries to let their military deal with stuff. It should be us. But also, we wouldn't be going into Ukraine trying to fight Russia, which we shouldn't be helping Ukraine do that anyway. All that's about to end.
Mostly on weapons.
The war machine is also the biggest polluter in world history.
With like fossil fuels and
I like that guy's shirt though.
Yeah, and I don't know how we can beat that system, but it needs to happen.
Obviously, there's a lot of people in my generation who are casting ballots for third-party candidates like Jill Stein because of the war in Gaza. What do you say to those people?
Well, I voted for Harris, and I'm hoping Harris wins.
I'm in school for teaching now. I'm in my last year, and I work with kids who are at risk for going into the school-to-prison pipeline, kids who are in poverty and at a higher likelihood of...
So she's the reason why kids keep going back to prison over and over again. Because she's voting for Kamala. We all know that she's not very smart.
ending up in the criminal justice system.
Here in D.C.?
Yeah, I also am against voting for people who are complicit in genocide, but I believe strongly, like, if they're both...
This is the person that's trying to get kids out of prison and keep kids from going back to prison. And she thinks that. This is why we're fucked. This is why our kids are fucked.
complicit in genocide. I want to do what I can to protect my kids here who get benefits from federal programs, like my kids can't afford supplies, my kids can't afford food, my kids... Also, I'm concerned about what I'm going to be able to teach.
Note how she keeps saying, my kids. I bet she doesn't actually have any kids of her own. Your kids are her kids.
I was at a conference a couple weeks ago for youth in the justice system, and someone in Louisiana is a teacher. They are not allowed to say the words diversity, equity, inclusion in schools. And like just with bullying, straight up, you're not allowed to say the word inclusion. I'm worried about what I'm going to be able to say to them. I worry about teaching evolution. I'm in middle school, so I don't have to worry about sex ed as much, but like, I had a kid last week ask me, what's it called when a man dresses up like a woman? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not allowed to tell you. I didn't say that, but I was like, I don't know. And another kid was like, I think it's called a drag king. And then another kid's like, have you seen DraftKings? They have the best ads. It's not like a...
She's right, though. She's right. Kids be seeing these DraftKings ads. These ads are all over. Like, kids are on regular YouTube. They're seeing these ads. They're seeing these gambling ads all over the place. They're on Kick. They're on Twitch. Gambling ads everywhere. Fortnite. Not exactly gambling, but it kind of is. You're gambling on whether or not your parents are going to have enough money to fork over the cash to buy you some worthless skins.
Isolated incident, that's what the majority of American children are going through. So I don't know. I'm voting Kamala because I want to be able to teach my kids. I want them to not be afraid to ask questions. I want them to get the resources that I think they'll get. And if I can't protect kids abroad, I want to protect my kids.
By the way, a man who dresses up as a woman is a transvestite. It's not derogatory. This is an actual term for a man who dresses up as a woman. And that's where it stops. That's where the line stops. Man dresses up as a woman. This is not thinking that you are a woman. This is, you are a man. You know you are a man. You identify as a man dressing up as a woman. Hopefully YouTube doesn't strike me down for that, because that is an actual word. And people who are that use that word. Transsexual, completely different. Just trans, completely different than a transvestite.
Kids here.
What do you think about what's going on?
That's what I think about what's going on too.
Vote? You feel like a politician represents your interests? Anyway? No? Swing voter, undecided.
I don't think they represent his interests. If they're going to take out Peanut and Fred, I think they'll take out this little doggy right here.
Doesn't want to talk to us, doesn't trust the media, doesn't trust the fake news. I wouldn't either. They don't represent pups properly, but we're going to for the first time. Free all the pups. I don't mean free the pup like I don't want the pup to have an owner, but free the pup from the bondage of, other dogs.
My name is Liam.
Liam, who are you voting for?
I voted Kamala. Kamala is just clearly better. She definitely slays. I really like what her and Biden have done over these past few years with the CHIPS Act and with promoting American semiconductors. My big thing is artificial intelligence and AI policy. I think that America needs to stay ahead on that. And I think that Biden...
And you think Kamala and Biden actually know what any of that means? Or any of the people that they hire? I guarantee you that Elon Musk knows what all this stuff is. Trump doesn't have to know. He's got Elon. That's what Elon's there for.
Biden Harris has done a good job with AI.
So are you pro-AI or anti-AI?
I'm generally pro-AI. I'm not never regulated at all. It's defensive accelerationism. You accelerate, but you also keep safeguards to make sure it goes well.
What are the top 3 benefits of AI?
True.
Probably medicines and biology. We can do so much engineering to cure diseases and fix problems.
Wrong. Porn. That's what's driving AI right now. That's what's been driving it the whole time. That's what drives everything. That's what drove the DVD technology and streaming technology. We were streaming porn before we were streaming. We were streaming porn before we were streaming movies.
Already we've seen it where even a lot of agriculture companies are making it much more efficient, or genetic engineering so that you can make larger crops for less money. And then I think you'll start to see that you'll have a return of American manufacturing, and you also just get cheaper and better quality consumer goods for the average person.
AI is really useful for teaching. Students are more likely scientifically to remember lessons that they're interested in. So if I filter my lesson plan through ChatGPT and be rewrite this with the same lesson objectives for a kid who's really interested in FIFA, or for a kid that's really interested in Minecraft, and it gives me the same lesson where I can teach the same lesson, but the worksheet or the homework I give them is going to relate it to them.
That's pretty good point. Actually, I didn't think about that. That's actually kind of awesome.
And then just creating entirely new experiences that we couldn't have even imagined before. The idea that I could immediately generate an image or generate a song just in 3 seconds. I made a song last night even.
What was the song about?
About the election, actually, and about different people who are going to be voting this time.
What are some of the lyrics in that song?
Somewhere in America, there's a young Latino man. No job, no education, not a single long-term plan. He listens to Joe Rogan and thinks our country's gone to shit. He blames his problems on China and wants Trump to deal with it.
It's unfortunate that patriotism is seen as synonymous with MAGA when it really isn't. I think part of being an American patriot is accepting that we're a diverse country where people from around the world can come here and make this country.
Yeah, we have to accept that we're diverse, not force it. That's what everybody's been doing for 6 years. has been forcing diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we just need to do away with it because we already had it. The 90s were a great time. We had some fringe places in the United States that weren't connected to the rest of us, that didn't know what was going on in the rest of the world. Even now, we got fringe people, but most people don't give a shit. Like, if you're friendly to me, and you're a foreigner, and you came here legally, and you're doing your part to the United States just like I am, I'm cool with you. I'm an anarchist. But we are not an anarchist state. So if I don't get anarchy, you don't either.
Country great. So the idea that you make it great by like rejecting immigrants or doing mass deportations is just vile to me.
I think we do mass deportations, but not like in a rough way. We do it friendly and be like, all right, here are the steps you can take in order to come back into the country legally.
Sir, what do you think's better, the original Swag Surfing song or the Lil Wayne remix on No Ceilings?
I like the original. It's best.
Respectfully disagree. Have a good one. Gotta say though, man, I'm a bit nostalgic. It's been a minute, but I guess it's good that it's a chill vibe.
Yeah, I don't think anything's gonna pop off tonight. Stuff. The days after, you gotta watch out for. That's when shit's gonna get real. When the election results gets called, probably on like Thursday or Friday. That's when shit's gonna hit the fan.
You working down here?
Huh? Yeah.
What's your field of employment?
Little did he know it got called in 4 hours and nothing happened. Isn't that crazy? Because they know that since Trump's coming in, they better crack down. And they were gonna crack down. Because they were ready. I bet something was stirring already. I bet there was something gonna happen. And it got shut down. Because the feeling was there. I felt it the whole night. As soon as the elections results started coming in, I knew it. I think everybody knew it. You started getting those. They were talking about the blue wall, and it kept going from back and forth, from red to blue, and some of them stayed blue.
I work in policy.
Some of them stayed red. That was the problem.
I work in environmental policy.
Like reducing carbon emissions and stuff?
Yeah, reducing carbon emissions, fighting climate change, and making good, sound environmental policies.
A lot of people say that like Trump being elected again is a huge kind of defeat for the environmental policy sector.
Oh yeah.
I don't believe in all the climate change bullshit. However, I do believe that we need to do some better stuff about the climate. Well, not really the climate, more like the environment. I just want to be in a cleaner place. I want things to look nicer. I want more nature around. I'm tired of looking at these gray buildings, everything smelling like rotten milk.
Yeah, because if you read through Project 2025 at all, it's all about deregulating, shutting down a bunch of good environmental offices throughout the government, whether it be in the, DOJ, DOI.
Okay, they say things that sound good, but the way they do them, not good. And the way they think when they go about doing these things, not good. Because they want you to think that they're doing all these cool things for climate change. But really, it's for somebody's making money. There's a power shift going on somewhere. It's never for our sake. It's never for you. It's always for themselves. Or for somebody that's above them. Because they're trying to get ahead, trying to get promoted.
DOE. I think we've come to the point in politics where most Republican members of Congress are not ignoring climate change, but you're like, it's not such a big deal itself. We need to focus on the economy and just keep on pushing through and just bring back those good old paying coal jobs.
Yeah. If you were to be staring down like a total climate change denier who's asking you for one concrete real life example that showed evidence of climate change,
I'll say just go to Florida, where I'm from. We get hit by at least one hurricane every year. That is not normal. People's houses literally flood every year down there. So yeah, just go down, live in one of those coastal beach towns and stuff, and see how every few years people's houses literally get destroyed and they need to rebuild. Those storms or hurricanes are only getting intenser and intenser as, climate change becomes a bigger issue.
It's gonna freak me the fuck out to be in a Channel 5 video.
Channel 5 live worldwide, Hollywood and Vine.
Fuck the authority, Channel 5 News.
Channel 55. We don't fuck with custers. And 5 is the best number.
There you go. Channel 5 News, Election Day. Wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was actually, I think he picked out the smartest Democrats out of everybody. Somehow, he managed to do it. They were probably about as smart as me. Which is saying something for Democrats. Not to rip on Democrats, I think Republicans are literally the exact same way, just on the other side of the aisle. This is going to be an interesting 4 years. And 4 years after that, going to be even more interesting because, like, I don't know who we got after this one. Hopefully Trump actually can make America great again. If he doesn't, I think the people are going to lose all trust in the government. And it's already, like, on thin ice. And you know what? Let's not have World War III.